So yeah, back in 2025 January, obviously when I stopped work, and then I ended up back in hospital because my ear, I had a perforated ear. Long story short, but because I was still having these weird episodes, I didn't know if it were connected with the pressure in my ear. And the pain was unbearable. Then like a little bit of blood were coming out, so the ambulance took me in. While I was at the hospital, I had another episode, and now they had to rush to get me because, well, they didn't know what the condition I've got. But I could hear him say to my husband, "Is she epileptic? Is it non-epileptic seizures?" And I'm like, well, I could hear him say, "Well, we don't know. We've not been diagnosed or seen by any neurologist or anything." So they ended up putting me on oxygen. I was just like laid on the bed, just out of it. Especially like with what I've been gone through with the perforated ear and the pain, and they had to give me morphine. But yeah, still don't know what it is. And then when I come round and the doctor give me some antibiotics and drops from my ear, it was like, well, what was the other bit? What happened? Is it a seizure or what? We don't know what happened to it. And well, you'll have to go back to your GP and request a referral for a neurologist. And it's like, and I'm said, well, my husband, no. We've been trying and the doctor's refusing. I don't need one of them, it's not in your head. And they're like, just basically shrugged shoulders, like, well, we can't do it. So I got sent home from that. Now it was, I got an appointment for my cardiologist appointment through to go to Sheffield. And he says, we're talking to him, explaining everything and stuff, and he says, well, I'm going to do all my own tests. It's a bit of a travel for you. So, but because the other doctors is not in your area, has not been doing anything about it, so where I'm going to do my own tests on you. So I had an ECG with him. I've had multiple, and it all comes back saying a short PR interval. It's hard to catch unless I'm having a flare up of when I get the palpitations. So, and then he did an ultrasound of my heart and arteries, and that came back all good. The structure and everything's normal. But it did, and I had the 2 week, I forgot what you call it, but the 2 week monitor were at home. And I just had to press the button and it would record it. There was about 8 recordings on. Well, I used a limit in less than a week because I was having them all that much. So I took that back. I got the results from that, and it come back with I get tachycardia during these flares, but that's as far as he can go because there's nothing actually structurally wrong with my heart, which is great. So that came back with tachycardia. I explained the palpitations, and then back on some of my other videos, one of the first investigations my doctor says was the kidneys on the tumours, a possibility. And before I had the scan of my kidneys, he sent me to a hormone specialist. Now, when I got my scan back and it says it's clear there's no tumours on your kidneys, he rung me up and says, well, there's no point of you carrying on with the hormone specialist. And I was like, no, I feel like it's the right option to do to rule out what it could to do with hormones, because, well, we just don't know. I mean, I've had one scan of my kidneys, you know. So he left that appointment for me to go see the specialist, which I'm glad he did, because when they did all their tests and it come back all clear for the hormone side of it, that my cholesterol came back as severely high. It was 8.7. I was 28 at the time, which the doctors knew about over a year. When I've gone through a medical record, they've known about it for over a year, and it not told me, and it was very severe. Now I've got family history of premature death to do with hearts and strokes. They died quite young. So having high cholesterol at a young age is a bit of a concern, as well as what's happening now. You don't know what it's going to cause in the long run as well. So they did all their investigations and stuff, and obviously caught the high cholesterol. So now I'm on statins for the rest of my life, and luckily recently my cholesterol is now normal, but I do have to go for, there's a fancy word for it and I don't know how to say it, so like a genetic family genetic testing, because I might carry the gene of high cholesterol. I don't know the technical, you know, terms for it, but if the results come back that I do have this gene, my children can get tested when they're 10, to see if, you know, if it affects them. So that was a good, well, not a good outcome, but at least the high cholesterol side of it sorted and now dealt with. And I went to see family in Leeds, and I ended up having an episode whilst there, and they've not seen it before, so they ended up calling an ambulance and they took me to Leeds Hospital. Long story short, the hospital put me through to a hot clinic to see a neurologist there. Went to see her. She looked at videos, you know, took some information, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know if you're showing some traits of epilepsy or a non-epileptic as well, but it's definitely not a migraine what I was experiencing." So yeah,